excited to hear about what Cesar is going to bring to us today. He always brings to us top-notch stuff. It's going to help each one of us grow in our individual businesses. So I'm excited for that. And so what I'd like to do here, just real quickly, is I'd like to share with you a little bit about Cesar. So Cesar has been married for 25 years, and he's the father of 6. His background is in corporate sales, and he also has done a lot of work with Spanish radio and TV associated with his ministry, Win Their Heart. He has spoken in North America, South America, Europe, and he's been very successful doing that as far as his ministry and his family ministry, and that's how Cesar and I met, and he's really blessed me with his discipleship in that area. But in addition to that, since coming to Worldventures, he's been very successful in doing this in a very short amount of time, doing the concept that we already see, and he is plugging into the system that he's going to share with us today. He's leading a team of hundreds of people all over the world, and this morning he's going to lead us with some top-notch content. So let's all welcome Cesar Ruiz. Cesar, can you hear me?
Thank you, Dan. I can. Thank you very much. If you can just please mute your line, and we'll get started. Welcome, everybody. Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for being here, for taking about 30 minutes of your time. I'm going to be sharing some exciting information. And first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am originally from Mexico. My wife is from Indiana. We got married, moved to Mexico for a few years, and then came back to the Dallas area where we have lived for 18 years now, since 1998. We have been married 26 years. I got married when I was 8 years old. That's a joke that I always tell. No, it's not true. I was 9 years old. And we have 6 kids. One of them is adopted, and 1 girl, 5 boys. Our girl's married, our older boy is in college, so we still have 4 kids at home. And my career has been in sales engineering for 18 years. I got into that career because I had a friend who was doing that, and I saw that he was working from home. He had all this flexible time, making good money. And at that time, my kids were very young, and my wife and I had just caught the vision to homeschool our kids, and I wanted to disciple my family. I knew that was going to be my most important calling, so I wanted to find a career that will give me time. For 10 of the 18 years, it was just that. It was a blessing, working from home, making good money. We started a ministry called Win Their Heart. You can check it out at wintheirheart.com. We started a radio and a TV show in Telemundo in Spanish in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We started doing conferences in the U.S., Central America, Mexico, South America, Europe. Things were going awesome because I had a great career that didn't take me very long. And the rest of the time, we were doing what we were passionate about. And then the recession came. About 2009, 2010, my career started changing to where now it was all work. There was no flexibility anymore. They inserted levels of micromanagement. The company that I was working for stopped doing ministry, to the point where 3 years ago, my wife and I were looking for something else. We were praying for something else that would give us freedom. And maybe this is you. This is why you're looking at this concept of Worldventures. My wife and I had some experience in network marketing years ago. All of you have probably heard of a company called Amway. Amway was a company that actually made it legal, made it legitimate to do network marketing, because there was a case brought against them by the Supreme Court in the United States where they thought it was a pyramid. And long story short, Amway won that case, legitimized the profession of network marketing to the point of where now it's a $170 billion industry worldwide. 7 out of 10 American homes use some kind of a direct sales product. And I was introduced to Amway years ago when I was still living in Mexico. We built a team. I think I signed up like 21 people personally, and we had a team of 120 people. Things were growing, things were happening, even though I was selling an expensive product in a developing nation, until the recession came in mid-90s and everything crashed and burned, and decided to move back to the US. I didn't have long-term success in Amway, but a dream was ignited inside of me. I thought, man, if this residual income deal is real, I'm wondering if one day I'm going to find a vehicle to do it. I was grateful because Amway taught me how to sell. That's why I got into sales engineering. And I realized that, man, if I could sell Amway, I could sell anything. So we started doing my career, and I try to get as close as possible to a profession that gave me freedom, and now I have lost it. And I was looking at the next 20 years of my life thinking, God, what do you want me to do with the rest of my life? And it is 3 years ago when a concept was introduced to us by the name of Worldventures. A friend of mine, Scott Ross, he used to be the VP of sales for a software company. And when I saw the concept from him, he had already retired. He was already doing Worldventures full time. He had retired from a successful career. So I was very impressed by the fact that I now knew somebody who was able to do what I dreamt for years. Would it be possible for me? And I saw that it was in the travel industry. I saw that Worldventures had no competition. I saw that it was already a stable company in the top 100 direct selling companies in the world. But I had a question. Man, is it going to work for me? I had a very honest conversation with my mentor, Scott, and I asked him, man, tell me why it's going to work. Honestly, I'm afraid to dream again. I'm afraid to put in all my chips, to get excited, to invest our lives, our time, our resources, our reputation. And what if it doesn't work for me? I have found several factors of why Worldventures is a reality, an attainable reality for anybody who wants to work it anywhere in the world. And I'll just give them to you right now before I get into this particular subject that I'm going to cover today. But most network marketing companies are in the nutritional space, skincare, some kind of a product, with the exception of a few that sell other services. About a dozen of them sell electricity, financial services, legal services. Nothing wrong with those services, but they're boring. Nobody really cares about it. Nobody wants to talk about those things in their free time. Point aside, they do have an advantage because they're a service. They don't have the physical challenges of a physical product. Research and development, manufacturing, quality, logistics, inventories. I mean, being in the manufacturing world where I am, I thought about all those things. So let's talk about the product side though. Most network marketing companies are in the product space, and they have all those challenges, and they're competing for the same piece of the pie. So for example, the nutritional industry, it's a $300 billion industry worldwide every year. And most network marketing companies are in that space. They're competing for that $300 billion piece. Thousands of companies literally are born every year. 90% of them fail. If you want to do business long-term with a network marketing company, do it with a company that's been in the market for at least 5 years and they have sold at least $50 million in business in 1 year. If you go and search the top 100 direct selling companies in the world, you're going to find the listing. Well, I found out that Worldventures, back then when I joined, has sold already $195 million, and it was the only travel company in the top 100 with no competition. Last year, 2014, we sold $352 million. 2015, $693 million. In this year, 2016, we are at about $1 billion. And then one more element. Travel industry is the largest industry in the world with about $8 trillion per year and grows by about $1 trillion per year with no competition. I mean, I saw all those numbers, all those factors, and I asked Scott, I'm still scared, man. Like, what is the secret sauce? What is the secret ingredient that makes for some people to succeed at it and some people not to succeed at it? And I'm going to talk to you about the bamboo plant. I don't know if you've heard about it, but certain species of bamboo can grow up to 90 centimeters, 3 feet, within a 24-hour period at a rate of almost 1.5 inches an hour, about 1 millimeter every 90 seconds, or 1 inch every 40 minutes. And they grow up to 98 feet tall. At that amazing growth rate, people might think, what in the world? Amazing. Just like in life, right? You look at somebody who has success in Worldventures and you think they walk on water, right? You probably went to a live presentation of some sort. You saw somebody who's reached the top level of our company. And you're thinking, those people are immortals. They're not human. Well, what people don't know about the bamboo plant is that it doesn't grow at all visibly for a whole year. The second year, nothing. The third year, nothing. The fourth year, nothing. The fifth year and the sixth year, it's finally when the bamboo plant starts growing. And from the moment it shows above ground, it takes off at the growth rate that I just described. So what's amazing about success, not just in Worldventures, not just in relationships, not just in relationships, not just in any area of life, is that most growth happens underground first. So today I'm going to take away the magic, I'm going to take away the mystery, and I'm going to tell you the two things that will determine whether you succeed in Worldventures or not, in anything that you do in life. Number one, you need to have an owner mindset. What do I mean by that? Let's say you go to church and your wife and I just bought a franchise, a Chick-fil-A. And you go and you go to the prayer group, to the Bible study, and they ask if anybody has a prayer request, and you raise your hand and you say, yes, my wife and I just purchased a Chick-fil-A. And everybody just claps. Wow, that's amazing. And they pray for you. God, we just pray that you will bless Dan and Jackie with this new venture, that you will give them wisdom, blah, 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 etc. Okay. And then right after the meeting, one of the people who pray for you are like, oh man, where are you going to open your door? When are you going to open your doors? I'd like to come in and buy a sandwich. And you tell them, well, actually, it's going to be a few years. The first year and a half, I just got a $1.5 million in debt. And first we got to scout out the land. They're actually the franchise people, Chick-fil-A, they're telling us where we're going to build it. We're going to spend $400,000 just to have a franchise. And it's going to take us 5 years before I even start making any money. I got to be working there 6 days a week because we do close on Sundays. I have a friend, actually Scott Ross, my mentor, he contemplated before doing Worldventures buying a Chick-fil-A. Okay, so that person, let's say you run into that person who was at the prayer meeting. You run into them 3 months later at the church, and he's like, hey, how's it going, man? How's it going with them sandwiches, with the chicken sandwiches, with the chicken nuggets? Sold any yet? And you tell him, no, I told you. We're just building the land right now. It'll be another year, actually. We'll have couple of slowdowns, so don't ask me for another year, man. We haven't opened doors yet. What if he runs into you in another 3 months, 6 months from the moment they prayed for you? And you're like, hey, how's it going? Got rich with Chick-fil-A yet? What would you say? Did you not understand? I'm $1.85 million in debt. We're building the place. I'm hiring people for another 3 months, okay? If that person asks you a year from then, hey man, how's it going with the nuggets? What would you ask them? Did your mother have any kids who lived? So this is the question. Why are we intellectually honest and have an owner mindset with traditional businesses, and many times don't have the same honesty and the same mindset when it comes to Worldventures, when it comes to network marketing? This business is the same as any other business. It is a business where you're trying to expose people to the concept so you can generate revenue, and you have a profit and a loss, and you keep the margins of the profit that you were able to keep. It's the same thing. We're just doing it in a different method. So I want you to be thinking about this business. Number one, I want to lay a foundation. Think about this business as you would think of any other business. Be intellectually honest with yourself and with the progress that you have. And this growth is going to depend on two aspects. The first aspect is how many people do I expose to the concept? McDonald's is the #1 franchise in the world, not because they make the best burgers, absolutely not, but because they have the most locations all over the world. Coca-Cola is not the best drink in the world. They're the best soda manufacturer because they're the #1 brand in the world. They have the most commercials, they have the most advertising all over the world. It's numbers. Everything is a numbers game. Apple, they expose a certain amount of people and they get a percentage of those people. Android, they expose a certain number of people and they get a percentage. Nobody gets them all. So you need to be intellectually honest about how many people am I gonna expose to this business. I'll be honest with you. You're gonna need a large number of people quickly if you want to succeed quickly. If you want to have your wings, have your 4 members so that you don't pay anything monthly, you're gonna have to put in some quick activity. If you want to get your first 6 members, reaching 6 members, you're gonna make between 250 and 550 cash your first month. If you want it to happen quickly, you're gonna have to show a lot of people quickly, 20 people quickly. If you show 20, you're gonna sign up about 6 right away. If you do it properly, following our system. And then out of those 6 people, if we help them quickly, you're gonna be able to qualify for your lifestyle bonus your first month, another 300 that first month. So you would make between 550 to 850 cash your first month if it happens quickly. Number 1, it's how many exposures do you do? And that is in life, the same thing happens. How many? Let's say that you go to you're gonna start working out, coming to the end of the year now, and New Year's resolutions coming up. Guess what happens at the gyms on January 2nd? Man, they are packed with people. This is the year they're gonna get fit. This is the year they're gonna get healthy. You go there on January 2nd, and it's full. By January 15, it already slowed down a little bit. By February, early February, it's cold. People are not feeling well. And then it's about a 50% capacity. By March, things are back to normal, about 20%. I know somebody who used to own LA Fitnesses, that gym franchise. You know how they calculate the number of parking lots, the number of towels, the number of exercise equipment they have in their facilities? 20% of all the sold memberships. Those are the numbers, the 80-20 rule. 20% of the people will do what the other 80% is not willing to do. We are now at a divorce rate high in America, even within Christian circles, which don't believe in divorce, over 50% divorce rate. Why? Because we have not been told how to invest, how to sow into our relationships. It's the same thing in this business. How many of exposures are you going to have? And number 2, how good are you? I think I need to move this in case it's blocking you. Just a second. Move to the right. How well do you do what you're doing? That's it. There's no mystery. So the gym example, let's think about that one. You go to the gym on January 2nd. You work out harder than you ever worked in the last 20 years, and you do it wrong. You hurt your knee, and the following day you can't even move because you're so sore. And you're like, man, this is harder than I thought. You don't go for 2 weeks waiting for the swelling to go down and for the soreness, for the lactic acid to leave your muscles. And you go back and you can't even exercise well because you're still sore, your knee still hurts. You go do something wrong again, you hurt your back. You're still eating junk food. You're not eating properly. You're not drinking water. You're not sleeping well. 2 months into it, you're thinking, man, why am I paying this membership? 3 months later, you're like, man, gyms are a scam. I don't see any progress. A year later, you either still paying that membership or you stop paying the membership and you start talking about, man, gyms are a fraud. They took my money. Why don't you say that? No, because you know that you're not doing the work. Have you walked into somebody's house and they have a piano? They have a grand piano in the living room and you ask, oh, who plays the piano here? Most times, you know what they say when I ask that question? Nobody does. Nobody plays the piano. People don't go, oh man, piano is a scam. No, they know that they have to work at it. So number 1, how many of one thing do you do? Number 2, how well do you do it? I want to talk to you about these 4 stages. The 4 stages of learning in anything that you do. First, you're unconsciously incompetent. You are terrible at it and you don't even know it. You think you're awesome. But eventually, if you keep doing the same thing again, you're going to realize that you're going to become consciously incompetent. You're going to realize, dude, I'm terrible at this. Now I see it. Most people quit at this point because they see how hard it's going to be. But a percentage of those people will continue going and going to keep working at it, going to keep working at it until they're like, man, this is really hard. I'm getting better, but this is hard. I don't see a lot of results yet. you're still growing underground. Up until the point where another percentage will quit here. Then we're like, man, this is too hard. I see I'm getting better, but I still have no results. But if you stay with it, if you continue doing it, just like when you were a kid and you said, I'm gonna ride a bike today because I'm gonna ride the bike, or I'm gonna tie my shoelaces because this is Velcro stuff. No, not anymore. They're not gonna laugh at me again. This will get done because it will get done. And then you will eventually become unconsciously competent. Have you ever driven home and you didn't even know how you got home? Because you were an automatic pilot? It's just like that on every area of life. Do not forget, that's how life works. And these are the 4 characteristics that you're going to have to develop if you're going to be successful at Worldventures. Not only a number of exposures you're going to have to do, not only that, but you're going to have to develop certain characteristics to be able to become the person you need to become to lead 3,000 people so you can be free. Number 1, how hungry are you? These are the characteristics you look for in prospects as well. How hungry are you? How much do you really want to change your situation? That is something you cannot give to a prospect. They have to be hungry already. How significant do they want to be with their lives? Are they pretty happy with what they're doing, just providing for their family, struggling along, chugging along, or do they really want to be set free and make an impact in their world? Number 2, how humble will you be? Maybe you've been successful at what you've been doing. That was a huge handicap for me because I came with some success, but this business is different from anything else I've done before. It's not just sales, it's leadership. You have to become a leader, somebody who can lead other people into becoming what they want to become. So how humble will you be? How open will you be to receiving directions? Number 3, what kind of chin do you have? In boxing, in MMA, they talk about having a chin. When they say no, will you just crawl to a corner and suck your thumb and start crying? Oh, they told me no. They told me no, this doesn't work. Rejection doesn't exist. Rejection, it doesn't exist. It's just feedback. Failure is just feedback. We have been taught in our culture to avoid failure. You want to get everything right. You don't want to make a mistake. You know what? To succeed at anything, you have to fail quickly and often. Will you get up? And number 4, do you have credibility with your contacts? If you set up a meeting with them, do they want to meet with you? If you invite them over to your house, will they come? Some people are shocked that they don't have a lot of credibility. Don't worry, you can develop the credibility. But these are the 4 characteristics you want to develop and you want to find in the prospects. It's just like going through a deck of cards. You're looking for an ace. You're looking for an ace. Man, if you find a couple of aces here, you're making 4,000 to 6,000 residual. If you find 3 aces, you will be financially free. Sometimes we go through the deck of cards and you go through one and the next, and you find number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 2 again. And you start to get frustrated. Man, there are no aces here. Yes, they're there. You just got to keep looking faster and getting better at it. And you cannot force a number 2 to become an ace. You have to give him time to grow. This is the process that you're going to go through. More than convincing people, more than selling, quote unquote, we are going to be qualifying. We are sorting at every level. You can only show the people that you have invited. You cannot possibly show somebody who you have not invited. You have become really good at inviting. Out of the people that you show, only a percentage will join. Don't focus on the people who don't join. Focus on the people that join. Out of the people who join, only a few will do the work necessary to create any kind of result. And out of the people that work, only a percentage will be open and willing to learning how to get better. See, humility is a huge thing here, guys, because if not, you're never going to learn the things that require you to go through these numbers and not get discouraged. This is just a mental game because it's a business like any other. And nothing prepares you for this mental game like our live events. We have every 6 weeks, we have a regional event. The next regional event, at the very top right, you can see regional training event, is going to be on December 3rd. It's a full day from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a break for lunch in between. We're a couple of trainers who are making 6 figures. They train all over the country. We have about 30 different trainings going on in the U.S. on that day. Get your ticket for that event. Talk to the person who invited you and tell you, how do I get to that event? It is crucial. You need it. It is indispensable for you to succeed. And then we have four big live events and a special one called Journey at the very top. But I'm going to focus on the next one of these four larger events. At the very bottom, it's called Momentum. At the end of January, we are having this event, and we're going to have about 20,000 people in Phoenix, Arizona, where you're going to have thousands of people from all over the world coming and learning from the owner of Worldventures, from the executive team, from top people who are making 6 or 7 figures, and they're going to teach you exactly what you need to succeed. See, these live events are developed to improve your mental game, to give you the belief that you need, the belief in the company, the belief in the industry, not just in the travel industry, but in the network marketing industry, and most important, the belief that you can do this. This is just a mental game. You have to think about that 95% of the population in the world are employees. We are not used to think like an entrepreneur. So these events are designed to help you become an entrepreneur. And I want to finish with this illustration. I want you to look at this group of young people here. Look at the very person on the left, and then at the very last person on the right. Picture that the person on the left, it's the worst rep in Worldventures, okay? He's got a terrible attitude with his arms crossed, all the way on the left, just started, he thinks he's awesome, but he hasn't even shown one person yet. And then to the very right, it's the best presenter, the best leader in Worldventures, the best recruiter, the best at everything. She's an international marketing director. I have a question for you. Is it possible for the person on the very left to eventually move to the very right? See, the person on the left, somebody who hasn't even shown anything. But if that person keeps an open mind, is humble, is hungry, wants to grow in credibility, is coachable, takes a punch, does a number of exposures, eventually will he become like the girl to his right with her arm crossed, and she finally signed up 4 people. She just signed up one person. In her mind, she's thinking, man, if I can sign up one, I can sign up another one. And she goes and she shows more people, her posture increases, her credibility increases, her belief increases, and she becomes the guy, the next kid, with his hands in his pocket, smiling. Now he has his 4. He doesn't have to pay anything monthly anymore. He went to his first regional training. He is fired up, and he believes, at least for a few more weeks, that this could work for him. Do you think that if he continues and he goes, he can become the girl to his left, to our right, with her arm crossed, with a white sweater, and she is become now qualified for her lifestyle bonus. She went to Momentum and at the end of January, and she said, man, this is working. I actually make some money. Now I have a little bit of success. I can tell people I qualify for residual income, my lifestyle bonus. I have my 4. I have 6 personals now. Actually, do you think if that person continues putting in numbers and getting better at it, she can become the girl to the right with her hands in her pocket? You think she can become a senior rep? 30 on the left, 30 on the right, another source of residual income with a team of at least 60. Do you think if that girl, if she keeps working, can become the guy to our right with the arms crossed, with a sweater, with a long sleeve? He is now a director, a team of 180, 90 on the left, 90 on the right, 2 lineages. And he is now, with a lifestyle bonus, he can see the light at the end of the tunnel. He can see to the right that girl with the hands in the pockets who is now a marketing director. Do you think it is possible for that director to go marketing director? 2 lineages of 200 each, 200 active members on each side. She's making about $4,000 to $6,000 a month in residual income. She has the equivalent of a couple $1 million in the bank in passive income. Do you think it is possible for a leader who has built 2 lineages at 200 each to think about 3 lineages at 300 each and become the girl to the right with the long sleeve pink shirt, a regional marketing director making about $13,000 in residual income a month, training all over the US? Do you think that that person, if she continues with a humble attitude, determined, exposing a number of people, teaching leaders how to build leaders in her organization, do you think it is possible to visualize then that she could become a national marketing director? The kid with the long sleeve, the second to the last on the right, with 3 lineages of 600 each, making about 20,000 a month. Do you think it is possible for that guy to think, man, I'm almost there? If I can just keep going and I develop these 3 lineages to 1,000 each, keep helping my leaders, keep learning my leadership, my friendship skills that we talked about during the training last week, and I can become an international marketing director, guess what would happen? That girl, that international marketing director, after 1,000 battles, 1,000 scars and bumps and bruises and mistakes and failures, and she got up over and over and over and over again, and she got better, and she got inspired by stories of other people who went through it. One day she would get on a stage, on an international stage, and people will worship her. Oh, she walks on water. My goodness, she cannot fail. It must have been so easy for her. You know what she would think? If they only knew. You know what will happen to you one day? Right now, you may be in the midst of a struggle, thinking, man, I don't know if this could work for me. I'm convinced that it works as a concept, but can I do it? One day, if you continue with all the things we walk through, you will be like that bamboo plant that grows up to 100 feet in the air. So fast, so quickly, multiplication, residual income, freedom for you and your family, impacting thousands of lives. But people will never know all the growth that took place underground. Do the work, guys. Become the person you need to become. Become the person that God wants you to become. The person that you need to lead others in your family, and then other people in your business, the people that could lead an army of leaders to become financially free. Thank you, guys. My name is Cesar, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the next training. You can live the life you dreamed of, a life of freedom. Talk to you soon.